Hello and welcome back, hustlers. Today's video, we're going to discuss the lawsuit against Archer Aviation. It was some big news that was brought out on Thursday evening, and I've just had a bit of time to catch up, go through it myself. And I know for all of us Archer bulls out there that it's not the news that we wanted to hear, but this is not the first time that there's been a lawsuit or a short report, not just against Archer, but just on various stocks. What we're going to do in this video, we're going to say what was the lawsuit for. We're going to discuss a little bit about that. Then we're going to go into a bit more detail regarding it. And by the end of this video, I want to sum up and say, what do I think this means for Archer? And as always, guys, we look for your input. We want to see your expertise, so let us know in the comments. So in order for us to understand the lawsuit, we've got to go back and get a bit of background on Archer Aviation. So I want to go back to September 2021 when Archer Aviation went public. So this is from the SEC website. New transaction terms adjust the pro forma enterprise value of Archer from 2.7 billion to 1.7 billion, a 38% reduction. As previously stated, the combined company is expected to receive approximately 1.1 billion of gross proceeds from a fully committed common stock PIP offering of 600 million, along with approximately $500 million held in cash, assuming no redemptions of Atlas Crest's existing public stockholders. And it is anticipated that the post-closing company Archer will be listed on the New York Stock Exchange with a ticker symbol Archer. So this is basically where we've got this start, where they had overinflated it originally with an enterprise value of 2.7 billion. They have now reduced that to 1.7 billion, and the lawsuit is in regards to that they still think that this was overinflated. So here we have it. We've got the background for what is this lawsuit all about, and just give you the details behind it. So in a high stakes legal showdown that could reshape the trajectory of SPAC-backed ventures, the Delaware Court of Chancery has ruled that most claims in a suit against key figures behind the Archer Aviation 1.7 billion SPAC deal will proceed to trial. The case alleges a web of overhyped, misleading disclosures and self-enrichment in the electric aircraft maker's path to going public. Vice Chancellor Lori W. Will, speaking by teleconference, allowed 4 out of 5 counts to move forward after heated April arguments retaining breach of fiduciary duty and unjust enrichment allegations against roster that include billionaire Ken Moelis and his namesake firm Moelis Co. So the allegations take fight, sham aircraft claims, and market freefall. At the heart of the suit are claims that Moelis and others painted a wildly inflated picture of Archer Aviation's prospects. Plaintiffs accuse the SPAC sponsors of hyping a futuristic air taxi, the Midnight tilt rotor aircraft, through selectively edited footage and sky-high promises of 150-mile-an-hour speeds and 60-mile ranges. But according to the complaint, what the investors got instead was a glorified hovercraft. In footage released before 2021 merger, the prototype only managed to lift a few feet off the ground, a maneuver the plaintiffs say took 2 years to achieve and barely qualified as a milestone. Investors who clung to their shares rather than redeeming them for $10 saw them plummet to under $3 by early 2022. The suit claims that this nosedive confirms the SPAC merger was nowhere close to being entirely fair. On September 21, 2023, Archer investor Ken Sendry filed a securities class action lawsuit in the U.S. District Court of the Northern District of California in San Francisco, naming Archer and several of its top executives as defendants in the case, including company co-founder and CEO Adam Goldstein. Sendry's complaint alleged that Archer grossly overstated its progress in development and type certification of its 4-passenger Midnight eVTOL aircraft, and the company used heavily edited footage, sounds very similar to this next lawsuit that we're about to have, to exaggerate the amount of flight testing it had done. It further alleged that Archer misrepresented the nature of profitability of its business partnership and the company sought to purchase credibility by partnering with United Airlines and Stellantis. These two cases are near enough mirroring each other, and obviously on this occasion, back in September 2023, the plaintiff got dismissed. However, what the worry is on this second way round is they are going to court, and usually there's no smoke without fire. So like the fact that these keep rearing its head, and we had the short report earlier on in this year, we've obviously had this grisly short report. The mark against Archer's name is probably there now at this point, in terms of they're building a bit of a name for themselves for maybe over promising and under delivering. And I think we've said it many a time here before, is sometimes I think maybe they're doing it because they started off so much later than Joby, so they always feel like they need to do the catching up. They feel like they need to shorten that gap. But sometimes you're better to do it slow and steady and get there in the correct manner, rather than trying to take shortcuts where you can sort of be left with egg on your face. So here we have Archer's price for the last month. As you can see, it was around this point where the news broke, and then we had a drop of over 10%. It's not been the best week for us Archer investors. As we were saying this time 10 days ago, we were sitting 20% up, or 15% up from this point here. It's going to be an interesting one. I don't know how the market sentiment and the investor confidence is going to be with it. I guess people are going to wait to see how this lawsuit pays out. The one good thing at the moment that there is good amount of liquidity with Archer, but they don't want to be spending their money rather than being on research and development on a lawsuit. It just doesn't make sense. It means that they will have to end up going back and getting more investment. And based on these lawsuits, will investors want to be getting in with Archer now if they feel like they are maybe over promising and under delivering? We've got to hope now that Archer come out fighting and they give us some big news on August the 6th during their earnings report. I'm really looking forward to it. I think we need to be getting something from them. This has been as bad of a period in terms of this two-horse race that I can remember. And at the moment, Joby are really pulling away, in my opinion. Now that we have a better understanding, I just wanted to give a little bit of my own thoughts on how serious this is, what it could mean for Archer, and do I think that this will be the end of Archer Aviation? The SPACs were scrutinized at the time. The problem with these SPAC valuations are there isn't really tangible evidence to give the valuations and the progress amount of the aircrafts. I think it'd be very difficult to prove that they had overvalued it. Now, the problem that they may have is if they say that they were further forward in their type certification and they've given like evidence for this. They're obviously using the videos and making it look like they went further than just a few feet off the ground. I think one other thing that we do need to remember as well is the fact that there has been development on the part certification. They have been able to fly, and at the moment they're doing their piloted testing. So I imagine in that Delaware court that these will all be taken into consideration. There is plenty of reasons why they could have said that there were delays. At the end of the day, they are in uncharted waters and they are trying to develop an aircraft that hasn't been developed before. I think obviously in the short term, it's going to affect our investor confidence. It's going to affect the cash flow, and it may stop other partners partnering with Archer, and they may go with Joby instead. I would be especially thinking maybe about the Department of Defense. I know Adam has come out recently saying that they're going to be focusing more on defense, and they could be more of a defense-based like eVTOL company. But if Joby get first in that market, they are going to take it by storm. And I think that Archer really need to pull themselves together here and make sure they get back in this race. On the flip side, we have Joby Aviation, and they are flying at the moment. If you want to watch a video on the new all-time high of Joby, join me here.